Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be watching from, and welcome back to Rush Racing League Division number 6. Our very talented drivers tonight are going to go ahead and hit the streets of Singapore here for a 100% race, 62 laps around the circuit, and it is going to be chaos if the races that have preceded it this week are anything to go by. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I'll be one of your hosts and commentators for tonight's stream. The other man who has jumped into the comments box for the very first time here at Rush Racing League, it is Aardvark. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing quite well, actually.
That
Can't wait
is
to
very good.
watch this race.
Very good indeed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you'll have fun too, because actually last time, um, or one of the last times we were here, I should say, it was Division 4, and Nishka jumped in for the first time, and he had a blast, so I think it'll be the same for you. So anyways, you ready to send this one to the track?
Yep, let's get it.
Alright, let's go ahead and send this one to live picture. Alright, so here we are. It is time to be on track at the moment. It's a short qualifying followed by a 100% race. So that is pretty much everything you need to know about tonight. Now, this track is a very popular track. It's a lot of fun, but it's also very difficult. It is the third street circuit in 4 rounds. So, Aardvark, how do you feel about Singapore?
Personally, I love Singapore. It's an amazing track, very very technical, lots of straights, so you have to watch out. Uh, Very very tight also. So
Alright, yep, and while everything is getting going, we do need to re-invite Chevy Wolves. I will go ahead and try to get him in as soon as humanly possible. See if hopefully I don't miss him like I missed Ryan a few streams ago. But while the drivers are going to go ahead and get out on track, you don't happen to have Chevy Wolves added per chance, do you?
no, I don't think I do.
Gotcha, I'll see if I can try to find him. Sometimes drivers like to appear online and other times they do not. So I'll put on a driver who's on the L lap and then I'll check again. Let's go with keeper for now. Let's go try to get an invite to Mr. Chevy, one of the kick salvers racing here tonight. But yeah, this track is it's one of the tracks that it's a track I personally struggle at, but as like a circuit layout and the racing it provides, particularly here in Rush Racing League, it is beautiful.
Yes, it is. This track is amazing for racing. You will see one of the best overtaking moves on these tracks because you have to be calm, calculated, and you have to make it stick.
Pretty much, yeah. You really got to pick your moment and go for it. I mean, Division 4, if you saw the Division 4 race, it was literally decided on the very last lap with a last second maneuver, a very late braking dive, pretty much right into turn, I believe it was turn 16, or no, it was, yeah, it was turn 16. That was the late dive was made. It was a beautiful, beautiful move. And Chevy Wolves has indeed been invited, so hopefully he'll be able to jump into the session. We will have a full grid here tonight. A few reserve drivers actually jumping on in, and there was also quite a few changes. Um, Crow Crowjag now has a, I believe it's now a full-time seat with Alpine. So congratulations to him. He did put on a fantastic performance last week with Ferrari. And then the man who has won the last two races in Div 6 is now in Div 4. So a mighty fine promotion for the Mercedes man. Um, and now Hunter has also been called into reserve. So that is another reserve driver jumping on in. I feel like there's one other reserve driver that was brought in. I'm trying to remember who it is. But overall, it is going to be a fantastic night here.
Yes, indeed.
few drivers currently on a lap right now just to set their preliminary laps. It's short qualifying, so one single session will set the entirety of the grid. So you pretty much get, I mean, it's not as, crucial as a one shot like we have done in the past here for Rush Racing League, but it is still very crucial because you get pretty much one singular session to do things and one chance to really take advantage of the rubbered end track. So, how important is qualifying around the circuit to you?
Um, yeah, around this circuit, qualifying around here is really important. It's not like something like Monza or what's another track you can get lots of overtakes on? Bahrain. Um, this track is really quite tight. DRS trains are very high on this track. Um, getting stuck behind everyone is a very high chance. So every millisecond in qualifying that you can shave off gives you a better chance in the race.
Indeed. So, I mean, definitely, it is possible to make some very good overtakes here. It is also worth noting that it's possible to get some really you can make some good moves up the grid. Protein Group, who won, moved up. I believe it was 11 positions to win his 100% race. So, granted, I mean, typically, if we were doing the regular 50% race, then you'd have a lot less opportunity to get things going and to make the proper moves. But that's the beauty of these 100% races. It is essentially also just a race of attrition. But I mean, considering just going based off of Div 4, this track can be very chaotic. I mean, we had like I think four safety cars and a VSC, so about five cautions overall. Now, granted, Div 6 has been the cleanest division in recent times, so I mean, I wonder if we'll see that again, considering that there's a few differences between Div 4 and Div 6, but so far Div 6 has been the cleanest division of them all so far.
Yeah, they really have. The lack of incidents in Div 6 is um, amazing to see. You hate seeing incidents. Um, yeah, so.
Yeah, so commentating here tonight is myself and Aardvark, just to answer the question in chat. Um, but yeah, how do you feel about jumping in to commentate tonight? It's your first time commenting here at Rush, and you're doing 100% at Singapore.
Quite scary. I'll say that much. A lot of pressure, I'll say, on me.
I think you'll do just fine. I mean, you're doing fine right now, so just don't worry about it. The crowd is gonna love you, and just like we are loving these pretty quick qualifying times here at the get-go. Just taking a look right now, we're gonna go ahead and switch things over. H-Down's got a really good time on the board right now, about half a second clear of anybody for the matter. Bit
Yeah,
of a weird.
he's quite rapid.
I was supposed to say it's a weird frame issue that was happening with the Alpine of Krojag. I've never seen it have the weird frame issue like that before, but must have been a weird part of the circuit. Anyways, I know there was also a recent update that came out, although I'm not entirely too sure what the update changed or fixed, so...
So the update was primarily around fixing the AI, mostly, especially with their acceleration and all that. But yeah, unfortunately it caused some ruckus in Div 5 last night with mainly the console players. Yeah, wasn't very nice on Governor and Winter. Booted them straight out of the lobby and they couldn't get back in, unfortunately. It was very, very sad to see that.
the unfortunate AI, or well, AI and EA issues. Anything with two letters is apparently an issue here when it comes to F1. I mean, it's a common running gag that the AI in F1 seem to kind of forget about they forget about the I part. So they forget about the fact that they're supposed to be intelligent and they do some pretty silly things when it comes to racing. So, and if anyone, I know there's a lot of talk about AI taking everything over, but if you're worried about AI taking over your races, well, see anytime a AI car takes over here, or watch the or AI Super Formula race that happened in Abu Dhabi about a year ago, and you can see that it's completely safe.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
So we got about 9 minutes left in the session right now. H Town still the benchmark car right now. Yeah, it's interesting that we pretty much have. I know at least two drivers have graduated up to a higher division. So that pretty much just leads to the. I mean, the driver who's been on a winning streak in Div 6 has been moved up to Division 4. So, but do you think we can still see a Mercedes take a win here?
Um, at the moment, Hunter and Filthy Orange do have a chance at the win, or maybe even a podium. But H Town's quali pace may show otherwise. Being 5 tenths ahead of everyone, his race pace could be crazy ahead of everyone. Or he might just have a quali base setup, and so his race pace might fall off.
We'll see. We'll see which direction that ends up going in. I know previously H Town has had good qualifying performances, but in race pace he has had some moments where he fell off, whether it be due to just mistakes on his own end or podium or not podiums penalties. But he has had some very strong performances here in Div 6. He'll also be racing again this Saturday when we go back to the North America division. So if you guys are like myself and you guys are more inclined to the North American time zones, we do have a race coming up this Saturday. So tune into our NA division broadcast. It'll be myself and GameHawk in the commentary booth. It'll be a lot of fun. Miami was really fun to watch. Honestly, it was just a generational drive that we've seen from the V Carb of NYC Gaming. Um, Went from having a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane to end up winning the whole thing by several seconds. So, I mean, just a generational drive from him. But back onto the circuit. So, everybody but three drivers has set a time, and looks like that's going to be down to two. And Jackal, by 9,000ths of a second, jumps up into pole position. What a time there from Jackal. Excellent. Excellent time there from the Chrome McLaren, shining under the floodlights here at Singapore. And now it is just Chevy and J Mackey who have yet to set a lap time. So, um, I know in general that these lap times are going to start really trickling down when we get into the final few minutes of qualifying here. Typically around the final 2 or 3 minutes. But, do you think anyone has a chance of usurping Jackal here?
Um, Possibly, I think H Town could even come back again and just snatch it right off him with all this extra added rubber. Oh my god. Um, and yeah, seeing that that was his first lap and he still could go out for another one, maybe even 2 laps. Um, H Town has a real chance at pole here, but Jackal's pace with that added rubber is just amazing.
Indeed, we're gonna actually hop on board with one of the two cars that's never mind. I was gonna hop on board with Chevy Wolves first lap, but it is an invalidation for the Kick Sauber. With the exception of Jackal, everybody is pretty much within a Kick Sauber sandwich. Um, Jackal's the only one outside of that sandwich, so it's pretty interesting. I think Chevy Wolves will jump up once he gets a good time on the board. Few drivers still going and trying to set times. Keeper is doing pretty good. I mean, Williams needs a good result. Williams, I mean, it's no secret that Williams haven't had quite the start to the season that they would have liked to have. Um, yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the Grove Bay squad to really get things going. Taking a look at the standings here, coming into this week. Williams have a total of 8 points, so they are pretty much at the, or actually 10 points. They're at the bottom of the constructor standings with a 7 point gap to Aston ahead, and then a further point to Ferrari. So, I mean, if Ferrari have a generational fall off, and Aston have some struggles, Williams might have a chance of getting out of that bottom part, but we're gonna have to see because I mean it's gonna be tricky for this Williams squad. But I mean generally, if we look at other divisions, Ferrari is absolutely flying, but it feels like Div 6 Ferrari is the only reason why they're not ahead in the overalls right now, just because Div 6 Ferrari has had quite a few struggles in recent times. I think their best result of the entire season in Div 6 was when Crojack got that P8 last week in Qatar. So,
Yeah, definitely.
alright, so we're going to go and take a look at the times real quick, and then we'll switch back to the gap to leader. So, here's pretty much the spread of times right now. The fast time is a 1:29.706, and there's only 3 drivers actually in that 1 minute 29. It is Jackal with provisional pole at the moment, H-Town and Nishka, the only drivers currently in that 129 range. But the gap goes down all the way to a 133. So quite a big spread across the field. Just going to jump on board with
Yeah.
Jay Mackey here, as he's going to go ahead and try to finish off his lap here.
Yeah, so all the cars are kind of just peering into the pit lane now, trying to get out as fast as possible real soon for their final lap.
Yeah, so traffic here is going to get pretty heavy in the coming moments.
H-Town on his
Go ahead.
Yeah, so H-Town is on his outlap, so I'm gonna be looking forward to what he sets.
Yep, that sounds
Hunter
good.
also an outlap.
And actually, we'll actually go on board with the Houston native, and I'll let you go ahead and take the onboard lap and see. He's got no battery left. His battery's actually depleted, but Jay Mackey is about 4.5 seconds off of the pace. So not quite the starting lap that he would have wanted. But H-Town going in and making his way through the final few corners before we go ahead and get started with his lap. And I will go ahead and let you take the onboard lap with H-Town.
Yep. So we're just passing through the final corners now before he starts his lap. Burning a bit of battery just to get up to speed. DRS on. Down the straight. Burn a bit of battery, not too much. Yep. Pull into that corner, cut the curb as much as possible without invalidating. Slow into this corner, extend out wide. Bit of battery here. Slide onto that curb there. Down the straight, DRS on. Battery, slamming it. That Alpine gets out of the way. Now he's coming to the braking zone. Hard braking here. Left-hander. Now he's going into the right-hander. Extends out wide. Yep, good, nice and clean. Slides into here, cuts the curb a bit. Bit of ERS. On the braking. Keeps it tight, cuts the curb a bit. Tight here as well. Now he has to watch for the bridge. There we are. Cool, nice. Really tight there. Down here, DRS on, ERS on. Into the braking. Sharp right hand here. Down here, ERS on, DRS on. Pushing as hard as you can down this straight. Hard braking. Into the right, into the left. And then a really hard, fast speed right, left here. To the line, and that's a 29.576.
Yeah, it's provisional pole too within the last few seconds. So the only driver who might be able to go ahead and try to usurp it is the McLaren of Jackal, as Jackal's making his way down into the Singapore sling, and then going ahead and trying to make everything happen here.
Jackal is 2/10 up as he goes into the hairpin.
So that would be enough to go ahead and give him pole position here. But he's got to keep it up, and he's got to not invalidate. So we'll see. It's a purple sector too as well. So it's purples, and we're going to go ahead.
Up here.
Yep, so he needs to be 1.3 tenths up as he comes across the line to go ahead and get that pole position. A few drivers have already finished up, and Chevy's actually going to finish without setting a time, so it'll start from the back of the grid, which is unfortunate for one Sauber. We'll see if the field is going to be in a Sauber sandwich. Jackal takes pole position here with a 129, 340, 2.36 tenths ahead. What about Keeper? Does Keeper have a shot? No, I don't think Keeper improved. Larkin's come across the line. No improvement from him. Krojag, he's not on an improvement lap, so we'll see about TMT, the winner in Jeddah. We'll see if he can go ahead and
Oh, he goes a bit wide there.
he did go a bit wide there. Probably a little bit of the dirty air from the Red Bull just up ahead from Uncle Morty. And no, he's not going to get it. So Krojag is the only other driver who could, but he's coming into the pit. So that is the session
Oh,
done and dusted. So pole position goes to Jackal. What a lap from the Chrome McLaren.
yeah, quite indeed. Being 2 tenths faster than H-Town, that's crazy. Seeing that he was about 5 tenths faster than everybody on his first lap. So let's get into the race. Let's see what everyone's pace is like.
Indeed, race pace is always going to be I mean, especially in these 100% races, you really got to have your strategy right, and you got to have the consistency to keep up solid laps, lap after lap after lap. And it's 62 laps around this Marina Bay street circuit. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to mess things up, especially in Singapore. So, I mean, we could see what we saw in Division 4 with Protein Group jumping up several, like, over half the grid, starting in, I think, about P12 or P11 and making his way up to the top. So anyways, we're going to go and take a look at our qualifying results here. It is Jackal to H-Town to Keeper, and to Nishka, the only drivers in the 129s. And then we go to Striker, MPJ, the sub-in for Mercedes of Hunter, TMT, Larkins, Krojag, who recently got his promotion to Alpine. And then we have Dwight, Filthy Orange, David, VSC, Woofa, Uncle Morty, Quicksilver, Hayden, J Mackey, and Chevy Wolves, who was unfortunately unable to set a time in the Kick Sauber. So the field, barring Jackal, is in a Kick Sauber sandwich here in Singapore. But qualifying is one thing, but can these drivers keep up the pace for 62 laps around this circuit? What do you predict the strategy is going to be here tonight?
You could either run a really You could run a one stop. It's going to be hard to run a one stop. You have to tire save. You have to fuel save around here as well. Um, but for the most part, I think everyone's going to be running a two stop.
And then just taking a look at the chat, a lot of people congratulating Jackal, congratulating H-Town, Sebi having his very strong opinions against the Chrome McLaren livery. Um, I still think the Triple Crown livery from 2023 is like the best special edition McLaren livery that they've done. That's just me personally. The Triple Crown is a very beautiful livery, but
Yeah, I'm more of a white Red Bull myself, honestly. I love that car.
oh yeah, the white Red Bull is always beautiful. I mean I do think that the summer edition V carb that was at Miami was a pretty good pick too.
Yes, yes, it was. Um,
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get racing here. We have those 5 red lights coming on, and it is lights out, and away we go here. It's lights out in Singapore, and we're already seeing drivers jockeying for position. Jacko keeping the lead going into turn 1. And it is easier said than done around this circuit, but we have quite a few cars bunched up, several positions being changed, and Krojak actually going pretty far down the order, so it's not the greatest of starts here for the Alpine. We have a caution, and it's a pileup here coming out of turn 5. A bit of a gaggle of cars being stopped there. It looks like TMT does have damage on the front wing of the Racing Bull. Yes, he does. He's missing a good chunk of the front left. So that is definitely not a good race start. Actually, I think he's just missing the end plate, but still, around a track where grip is so paramount, like Singapore, then it is just not ideal in the slightest. Jackal's already having a very fantastic start, already pulling about 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. And H-Town hasn't the greatest of starts as Nishka is going to go ahead and try to make a move here down into turn number 14. And um, around this time in Div 4, we did have a safety car, but looks like aside from a few missing end plates and a little bit of wing damage, I think most of this field has got through pretty clean as J Mack is already trying to make his way through the field.
Yeah, Nishka's already made up one place. I love to see that. Let's see, position change. Yeah, so Hayden's already up 5 places. Uncle Morty in the Red Bulls up 4.
So
TMT's down 11 as he goes into the pits.
yeah, quite a few drivers making pit stops for their just to get some repairs in. But there's, like you said, quite a few very strong movers. Hayden's Gate up 5 positions. Uncle Morty up 4. Those are pretty much your two biggest.
Nishka and H-Town going at it. Nishka's ahead.
Yep, and Nishka.
Nishka goes wide.
I mean,
Nishka's ahead.
that is the beauty of this track, is that sometimes the wide line can be the optimal line when you're trying to get an overtake done. So Nishka up 2 positions. I like to think that he learned quite a bit about this track from commentating the Division 4 race a few weeks ago. He saw what the Div 4 drivers are doing and probably learned a little bit. I mean, I know in sports, and J Mackey is out, and that is a full course caution. The VSC is out, just like J Mackey.
Yeah, what happened there?
Unfortunately, we do not know. But I do want to go ahead and just chat for a bit while we do have this caution. Get a good chance to go ahead and check out chat, see what everybody's been talking about. Let's see. W Kick. I mean, Kick has had a up and down race here today. I mean, Chevy's up 4 positions, but H-Town is down a position. But he'll have a decent chance to potentially try to catch back up. It would be better if it was a full safety car instead of just a full course caution. You're not really going to make up too much ground like this, as Dwight and Filthy Orange are swapping positions, it looks like. That might just be a game bug. But we have seen virtual safety cars kind of have their moments in this game. Quicksilver Deck is into the pits for Ferrari. Going in and swapping out the tires. Actually, let's take a look at the tires and we'll see what everybody's on. So, Quicksilver is on the hard tires. I mean, he's going to have to make another stop again. Jacko's got a penalty for speeding under the VSC. Jumped the start just by a bit. Ooh, that's rough.
Yes, that will be rough. So that means Nishka will take provisional first place for now, as Jackal will have to serve that penalty within 3 laps. And while Nishka starts to slightly catch him.
Yeah, Nishka is going to go ahead and put the pedal down in that Alpine and try to make his way closer to Jackal. We'll see what he can do here as he is trying to close the gap to the Chrome Dome car just up ahead. We'll see if the Chrome doesn't blind Nishka, concerning Chrome's reflective properties, although that would be pretty unfair if that were the case in F125. Just imagine trying to drive behind a flashbang on 4 wheels.
Especially at a track like this. Yeah, too many lights around here, to be honest. Little too many. But then again, that's why we race at night here. It's just too hot, so you have to have all these lights.
Indeed. So, I mean...
So Jackal didn't serve his drive-through this lap, so he has still 2 more laps to serve it.
I think what he's gonna try to do is... I believe he's gonna go ahead and try to... Probably try to extend his gap as much as possible to do some damage limitation here. We'll see how much battery he's got here. It is 70% battery at the moment. it'll be interesting. Yeah, he's deploying, so he's deploying in a lot of zones to try to damage limitation is going to be the name of the game for Jacko here as we get this beautiful helicopter shot of him going through the Singapore sling, through the bridge. And overall, this is looking like a very fun race here in the making as we hop on board with the Haas of MPJ, who's going to go ahead and try to catch up to Keeper. And, I mean, overall, this field has spread out a little bit, but there's still some really close battles here for position. Larkins actually is looking for a move onto the V-carb of Striker. The DRS flap is going to be opened, and we'll see if there's going to be a move here coming down into turn 16. It's not common that you see moves into turn 16. Jacko did set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:35.603, but let's talk about Hunter for a bit, because, I mean, it's his first race here. He popped in as a reserve for Mercedes, replacing Bredman, who got promoted. But, I mean, he's having a pretty good race so far.
Yeah, he seems to be having a pretty good race. P6, that's always nice. Yeah, he's just got to stay calm. He's got a striker right up behind him, so he's got to watch out for that, as he doesn't have any DRS in front of him.
Indeed, and not a lot of battery either, so it's going to be tricky for him to fully navigate how this track is going to go. But, I mean, for your first race, you go jumping straight into 100% Singapore. I mean, a lot of the drivers felt that same kind of pain from the first round when it was 100% Jeddah to kick off the season. So, I mean, it's a tricky one, but it is essentially trial by fire. But, I mean, if you survive here, then, I mean, you're probably in a very good spot.
Yes, indeed. So Jackal's probably going to have to serve his drive-through this lap, I believe. I think you get 3 laps to serve it.
Ooh, what happened here? That is Hayden Skate having a bit of a moment on his own in turn 10? No, it's 13. That's turn 13. Had a bit of a moment on, so the Williams driver having a bit of a moment.
So now Jackal is serving his drive-through.
Yep. Sure enough, he is serving that drive-through. Finally gonna drop several positions. And the worst part is he won't be on new tires to try to catch up to anyone. So he'll just come out just, behind Krojag. So, ooh, that's Jackal's race really taking a hit. So now, when it comes to the strategy, would you try to make these medium tires go out towards around the middle? So, would you try to push these mediums to like the 30s? Or would you try to go for a bigger undercut to try to make the hards go longer?
Possibly. Well, it depends, because you could push out those mediums, make them last really, really long, hope for a safety car, or you could do a 2-stop, switch off that 1 stop and go to a 2. So, yeah, lots of strategies can still be played with Jackal currently. He's still very much in this race.
Indeed, I mean, he's got pace as we are watching him try to climb back through the field. He's right up behind Krojag in his first race for Alpine, second race in Div 6 this season. So he's got the DRS. Is he going to try to make an overtake going into turn 14? He does not. That is not really a good overtaking spot anyway, unless you have a massive pace advantage, which in this case Jackal did not. Krojag's trying to get a move done on the Chevy Wolves, and doesn't quite have the real estate to get it done here as we go ahead. And for them, they're going to go ahead and start lap number 6. And oh, there's a V-carb having a bit of a moment. Once again, that's turn 14, or turn 13. So that hairpin at the end of the Singapore sling is really catching some of these drivers off guard here.
Yeah. Oh, and the Ferrari down in P18 has front wing damage.
Yeah,
Major front wing damage.
he binned it, according to the Twitch chat. Now he's got Paulin, who is pretty much just trying to take a position off of him. But, I mean, oh, and he taps the wall again. So he's definitely going to come into the pits yet again. I mean, if he keeps it up like this, then I mean, the issue with Singapore and these 100% Grand Prix is if you make too many mistakes, and there's a lot of time to make those mistakes. If you make too many mistakes, then you are in serious trouble just running out of tires.
Yes, quite indeed. Running out of tires here is a big problem. You only get 3 sets for the race, and not including softs. And unfortunately, it's a really rough uh, race. You mess up your front wing, yeah, it's your race over for the most part. Um, yeah, it's just all about damage limitation here. Try not to damage the car too much.
Which is a task much easier said than done around the unforgiving streets of Singapore. I mean, we both know that this track will absolutely bite if you dare get too close to the wall. I mean, I experienced it earlier today when I was just doing some practice laps just to prepare for tonight. Um, I couldn't even make it in Top Drive. I couldn't even make it through like turn 16, 17, and then even like 18, 19, the last two corners. You'd carry so much speed that I kept invalidating before I could even get an actual time trial lap in. So I know this track is very tricky, very technical, and there's a lot of ways that you can mess up and a lot of ways that things can go wrong. Um, but I do want to mention that Williams right here, particularly with keeper, is having a fantastic night. He is currently in the top three, which would definitely help them out in terms of the points. And I think mathematically, I have to double check this, but I think mathematically, Williams will outscore Ferrari and Aston, their main rivals in the Constructors' Championship here in Div 6. So they might, if they keep this up, they might jump out of P10 here in the Constructors.
Yeah, let's hope that they do. They really need those points being P10 in the constructors. They don't want to stay there for long.
Yeah, and I know last week in Qatar, across the board, Williams had a much better week, trying to go ahead and jump into the higher positions when it comes to the overalls and trying to take the fight to a lot of other these teams. It's just they've had a rough start to the week or to the season here in season 9. But I mean, it's still quite a lot of season left to go, so I do think they do have the potential to go ahead and make some big moves here. I mean, still a bunch of races to go.
Yes, indeed. Still a long way to go for every single one of these teams. Leader changing every single race.
Indeed, and even the Drivers' Championship is going to get quite shaken up considering that the driver who has won the 2 out of the last 3 races here, who has a 66% win rate in Division 6, got promoted several divisions up. So the only division winner or race winner in this division, at least based on this season, is down to P17. So this really allows for a lot of drivers who maybe didn't have a shot of the championship previously to really have a good go at it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, just need to keep grabbing those points, keep getting high scoring positions so you can maintain that lead, extend it. One of the things about league racing is that it's very unpredictable. Everybody's got equal cars, so everybody's good at different tracks, so those points matter really, like, a lot. You don't want to fall behind.
You really don't. I mean, consistency is what's going to win you that championship. And I mean, you pretty much said it. The only predictable thing about racing, particularly league racing, is that it is unpredictable. So I mean, anything can happen. There could always be a big crash. You can see an Alpine going up on 2 wheels, like we saw in Div 4 Monaco. We can see a generational drive from a Ferrari. I mean, there's still a lot that can happen, and even just in this race, even if we make things a bit more small scale, I mean, we're only on lap 10 out of 62 here in Singapore. So I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go, a lot of moves that can still happen, as Dwight is going to try to make a move, or at least try to get close enough to make a move on the Filthy Orange, Mercedes are going to come away with a pretty decent point haul if they finish in P5 and P8, but you got to wonder how much their championship prospects have dipped with Breadman dipping to a different division.
So Keeper has currently fallen off the back of H-Town. I was kind of looking forward to seeing Keeper get around H-Town, but unfortunately he's fallen back, and now he's about 3 seconds behind H-Town. H-Town's still on the back of Nishka pretty much, 1.5 seconds, still not enough to be within DRS range, but still keeping Nishka within check.
Indeed, and Hayden will be the first driver to get a time penalty. He'll be the founding father of the penalty club here in Div 6 Singapore. So, unfortunate there, 10 seconds for track limit violation. Or 3 seconds for track limit violation. I think I said the wrong number on accident. But regardless, 3-second time penalty for Hayden. We'll see how many more occur here. I mean, it is a track where it's kind of easy to get those track limits because the road available to you, unlike a lot of street circuits that we've already visited, like Jeddah and Monaco, there's for some parts of the track, there's a lot of free real estate in between corners that you can go off track and get penalties on. The biggest one that I know of off the top of my head is the last 2 corners of the track with turns 18 and 19.
Yeah, those turns are quite volatile with yeah, penalties. Just dirty air can force you to go wide, really wide there, and then you're off the track, and it's a really rough corner to get right. You mainly have to lift when you're in race, and you certainly have to lift when you're in quali sometimes.
Indeed, we're watching this battle right now between H-Town and Nishka. This is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix so far. Sometimes, I mean, we saw it in Qatar where it was a bit of a strategic decision to stay out of DRS range just so the dirty air doesn't harm the tires. But H-Town is going to go ahead and say, I want this move done now. He's going to try to get past Nishka. I mean, he's been making up quite a bit of time here. I mean, maybe Nishka made a mistake at some point. Speaking about being on a move here, Jackal is up quite a bit. He is now back up into P12 from his drive-through penalty earlier, still on the 11-lap-old medium tires. He's not going to be too happy about how things have transpired in this Grand Prix, most certainly, but H-Town is happy that he's got a potential chance of trying to jump into the lead of this race for the first time. As he was, I mean, it looked like he was going to get pole for quite a bit of quali, and then Jackal set his fantastic time to jump him by about 2.3 tenths of a second. But now, H-Town trying to get it. H-Town trying to get a similar gap to himself and Nishka so he can try to make a pass. Really, your only good overtaking opportunities on this circuit, unless you are super brave on the brakes, is pretty much just before turn 16 and pretty much just before the Memorial Corner, turn 7. We'll see. Is he going to try to send it? Is he going to try to take a move out of a page out of Proteins Group's page? Nope, he did not. Not going to go for a move here. He'll have a better opportunity, but he is closing that gap in very nicely. But if these two keep battling, and even if they have a little bit of contact, then Keeper isn't too far off. Keeper could potentially play a factor in this battle if this battle continues on.
Yeah, staying within the cleaner, he gets to save his tires while H-Town kind of gets his tires ruined by Nishka, and Nishka gets to protect his tires by being in first. So overall, pretty good strategy from Keeper, staying within that 3-second gap, keeping those tires nice and fresh for when H-Town's drop off. Oh, and he's going on a move. Down the inside.
A little bit of bump, multiple bumps here.
Contact. Nishka maintains first, and he goes into that sharp right-hander. Nishka stays ahead.
That was very, very dicey stuff there. We know H-Town likes to make big attempts for big moves, and he's been successful on a handful of occasions, but, I mean, with Singapore, you gotta be perfect to get an overtake, even on the easier overtaking corners, like Memorial Corner, where the overtakes were attempted. But, I mean, luckily there's no sign of damage, but If we look at the time gap now, last lap it was 2.7 seconds between Keeper and H-Down. Now it's less than 2 seconds period, so Keeper's just about in DRS range. So if these two keep fighting, if they have another moment like that, then Keeper's in the shot of taking a lead here.
Yeah, he may have a chance at the lead here. Closing in the gap of being 1.7 seconds now, and he cuts the track there.
So it's going to be potentially a bit of a warning there for the Williams man. And we can see the dirty air taking effect on H-Town. He's struggling a bit to take the corner with the same efficiency that he has done previously when trying to catch Nishka. We'll see now if he's got it. Oh, I don't think he's got enough space to go ahead and get a move done.
There's a Williams in the wall. Hayden Skates is in the wall, and he's reversing up now.
Indeed, we did see that. And it's a full course caution, so that's going to go ahead and neutralize any attempt of an overtake here from H-Town. I think it was really close to getting an overtake done here before the intervention of the VSC. Second one of the night. Hopefully the last one. The stewards are having an easy night here so far. Same with the onboards, having pretty much really the only real incident. Oh, and we're back racing already. That was a very quick VSE. I'm not complaining about that though. But Nishka might, because Nishka might have wanted a bit of a stronger buffer, but he's at a much better restart here.
Oh, the chat's asking for a P9 on board, so the Haas of De Willett.
All right, so Dwight is going to go ahead and get his on board, as he is now chasing down Filthy Orange here. So we'll see how this plays out. I did see that there wasn't any channel credits used, because if you guys aren't familiar, if you spend about 2k channel points, you'll get a full narrated onboard lap with the driver of your choosing, as long as they are still actively in the race. So I mean, at this point, you couldn't do Jay Mackey, but you could do everyone else. But we'll still go ahead and give the people what they want, because this actually might be very interesting here. So Dwight is making his way through Shears corner and then going into turn 3. Now making the run down through turn 4, going into turn 5. He's staying very close. He's got a really good front row seat to Larkins versus Filthy Orange just up ahead. And just like we were talking about with Keeper earlier, if the two cars ahead of him get into a little bit of a argy-bargy, then that's going to open up the door for Dwight to get the move done, as he's really closed up that gap very nicely here to the Mercedes and the Ferrari just up ahead. Looks like he's getting better exits here than Filthy Orange. He's going to go ahead and try. Oh, he's going to try to make him brake late. Didn't quite play out. I know sometimes we've seen those. They're called dummy moves, where you fake like you're about to send it deep and then brake early to try to get the other person to outbrake themselves. Didn't happen this time, didn't work, but now he's going to go ahead and turn on the afterburners, firing up the DRS, still trying to stay within about half a second. Ideally you want to be within 0.3 of a second to make a move. We'll see if that's going to happen here. Filthy Orange doesn't have DRS anymore, so he's going to go ahead and close that gap, but just not enough to get a full attempt on the move here. So that is lap number 16 going ahead and wrapping up for the Haas driver. And I mean, or sorry, that's lap 15 wrapping up for the Haas driver. But I mean, what do you make of this race so far? And more importantly, when do you think we're going to start seeing these medium runners make a pit stop?
So we should start to see these medium runners start to make pit stops around now, or around lap 20, as these mediums start to drop off.
And actually, speaking of dropping off here, David is trying to... Oh, both the Red Bulls are going at it again. They're both seeing red, and they're both seeing an overtake happen onto Dwight. I wonder what happened there, because Dwight is now just falling down the order like a stone. Oh, he's having a bit of a wiggle there. So this is getting very intense here. Jackal looking to claim another victim as he's going to go try to make a move. Tries to make Dwight outbreak himself, and I think he did a little bit, but there's just not enough real estate here going through the Singapore sling to really make any kind of moves before that third DRS zone. So we'll see if Jacko can go ahead and try to clear it up now. And he's going to go ahead and push it to the limit. And he's going to send it up the inside. A bit of contact, forcing Dwight a bit wide.
Oh,
Crow
and the
drag.
Alpine.
Crow drag having, I think, taking a bit of a evasive action here. Trying to not get collected by Dwight here.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so actually, I think there's actually a commercial break going on at the moment. So once we get back from that commercial break, it is going to be another onboard lap, this time with Uncle Morty. We're just waiting for the... If you don't have Twitch Prime, you get some pretty hilarious ads. There we are. We are... If you are not on Twitch Prime, we are back to live action. So if for those of you who didn't hear, next lap will be the onboard lap of Uncle Morty. We're going to stay on board with him for right now. Actually, we are going to do a quick little jump just up ahead because H-Town has caught back up to Nishka.
Oh, and it's raining.
Yeah, I was seeing that earlier too. I was curious if I was just seeing the ghost of the rain that never hit Division 4. The funny thing about Division 4 is that we had a red flag, unfortunately, but initially it was torrential downpour qualifying, and then it ended up being just dry for the whole rest of the event after the lobby restart. So good to see that we are actually getting some rain. That's going to go ahead and change a few things here. Yeah, it is
Oh,
raining
that
here in
was
Singapore.
really close to the wall.
Yeah, very close here. So the onboard lap is about to go ahead and kick off here for Uncle Morty, as he is in a very tight battle with Jackal here, as he's about to go ahead and start his next lap. And actually, Aardvark, I'm going to let you take this one away.
Yep, so now that it's starting to get wet, he's having to play this very safely. Extending the braking distance, being really careful on the throttle as he goes around the first couple of corners. Really, really slow onto the throttle. A lot more braking there than you should be doing. A bit of sliding as he gets under the throttle. Going down this main straight here. Heavy braking going into the corner. Bit shaky as the rain starts to impact the track more and more. Going really slow through these corners, getting right down to third gear. Even slower through here. Going wide. Down to second gear, all the way down to 80 k's per hour through that Singapore sling. As he comes up to the hairpin, real slowing down. Down to 60 k's, trying to speed up, trying to avoid his teammate. Ooh, getting really close to the wall there as his tyres start to degrade. Getting passed by Jackal on the inside. Oh, and Jackal's into the wall!
Oh no! It's catastrophe for McLaren there. And that's a full course caution, actual full safety car. So now you are going to see everybody come on into the pits for those inters. And I mean, that is unfortunate. Good job on the onboards there, Aardvark, but man, what a moment to catch on board.
Yes, indeed. So MPJS76 staying out on those slicks despite it raining. That's interesting. Maybe he's trying to stop the double stack of his teammate?
Potentially, although I'm not sure. I mean, there's still a potential that he might have been just a little bit past the pit box by the time the safety car came out, because that does tend to happen sometimes. I don't think he was, but he may be just trying to go ahead and try to get as much out of these mediums as he can, considering that the intermediates in this game do degrade very quickly, just like a lot of the tires actually. on this game tend to degrade very quickly, especially if you're on controller. Um, I've heard that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
actually,
the track control in this game for inters makes your rears light up like crazy. So everyone in this lobby is going to have to watch it really crazily. If those rears heat up too much, that's an extra stop you don't want to make. You need to save those inters.
yeah, there's actually about to be a. There was actually soon to be a prediction in the Twitch chat, which it's been a while since we had a prediction here in Div 6, at least to my knowledge. But it was gonna be, will we see a safety car before or after lap 28? If that prediction would have went out 2 minutes earlier, then that would have been a very quick prediction, as it did happen on lap 19 out of 62. Um, as the rain is still coming down here at Singapore, it's pretty light at the moment. Still, the intermediates are the favored tire right now, just because it is very slick out on circuit at the moment. But yeah, so actually,
Yeah,
still a lot
so
of drivers
currently,
making their stops.
yeah, so MP coming into the box right now to put on those fresh boots or the inter tire.
Oh no, he's on the hards?
He's on the hard tire.
Yeah, he's on the hards. So MPJ, I need to know what this man's cooking. I can smell what this man is cooking. I'm not sure if I like it. This is honestly like the reverse of what Ferrari did in Jeddah in, I believe it was this division, where it was full wets on a dry Jeddah track. Um, yeah, that's a bit of a baffling choice. Wonder if it was a misinput, or is the rain just not expected to last that long?
Yeah, maybe he's planning the hope that that rain does not last. Oh, getting really close to the wall there.
And it's so risky to get that close to the wall under a safety car. So apparently that's also a glitch that can happen in the game. That sometimes it just, I guess it changes what tire you selected. Apparently it happened to Nicholas Longe in PSGL. So that is a interesting thing to note. Um, hmm.
Yeah, those hards must be struggling. He's got no grip, no um, no temperature in those tires either. Especially with a cold, wet track, those tires are not going to be able to heat up at all.
Indeed. I've been requested to give a prediction. Um, it's kind of hard to think about a prediction. I'm trying to think. Well, I was gonna ask
MPJ,
about if the rain is gonna last the entire race, but that is a very long prediction that is not gonna see the end for a while. You know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Will drivers switch to the full wets before lap 30? Are we going to see full wets before lap 30 is my prediction. Because it looks like the rain is picking up a bit here. Ever so slightly. So, I mean, it's a possibility, or... Yeah, it's a possibility. I don't think it's likely, but I'm just curious to see about if MPJ's tire strategy choice is going to go ahead and pay off here.
oh, and he's off the track. He's rejoined.
Those,
He's really struggling on those hards.
yeah, I mean, if you were to gamble on a set of slick tires, I mean, I would have honestly thought you would have picked the soft tires for that, because they are the grippiest out of the Pirelli slicks. I mean, still the intermediate I think is the ideal tire. It's not wet enough for the heavy wets to be considered, but um, the rain has picked up here quite a bit since we initially saw the rain starting. All right.
Yeah, so
I was just gonna say real quick. The prediction is in. Will we see full wets
they are in.
before lap 35?
Yep. Cool. And we have a safety car in this lap, so let's see if MPJ's um, bet has really taken place, or whether it's going to be the biggest bottle of this race so far.
And that's a pretty high bar considering that Jackal started from pole position and crashed out into 19th. I mean that's unfortunate. Things like that do happen, but we will see. Or does MPJ pull off the masterclass strategy? And if the rain stops, then he might be able to survive. But yeah, I am really curious to see if those hard tires are really gonna play out in MPJ's favor. I mean, it's a risky one, but it is possible. As we go back green here in Singapore, we go green with the green wall tires, and MPJ is falling like a stone. You can't even get to him fast enough to just see. Oh, he's in the pits, so he's not sticking around on that gamble anymore. He's going to go to the inters. The strategy call
And
did not pay off.
Oh,
As you're saying?
and a slow release from the pits, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, so I think that is a bit of a bug there. So let's see. We have an onboard for Woofa. All right, so we have an onboard for Woofa. We'll go ahead and go to the Aston Martin and go ahead and get this going. Next lap, we'll do the full onboard with him. As we just go ahead and just... I mean, you can see a little bit of that dry line kind of forming, even phasing through the tree there, which is a bit of a funny visual, but we do see the dry line is kind of forming up here. So we'll hop on board to a few different battles, but once we get started with lap 23, we will do an onboard lap with Woofa, as the chat has been, as it was redeemed in chat early on. And a surprise interview request has just been redeemed. Jackal. Alright, Jackal, if you are hearing this, come on into the comments box. We'll chat with you for a bit and get your thoughts on a few things. And he's probably not wanting to talk, but if you are available and you do want to chat with us for a moment, the invitation is open. You can just jump into the live comments box here on the Discord. So we will see if that is
really pulling away.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing fantastic. He is doing very, very fantastic here, getting a good gap. We're going to go ahead and jump on board with Woofa as Dwight goes very wide there on the exit of turn 19. And we are on the start-finish straight. We'll see if Woofa can go ahead and get a move done into these early corners. And in general, Dwight is just seemingly struggling a bit on those intermediate tires. So we're going to go ahead and put the pedal to the metal. And this rain is coming down pretty heavy here. And in the commentary box, we do have Jackal. So, Jackal, unfortunate race for you. Started in pole position and crashed out pretty early on. What happened there?
Yeah, so, I mean, I've posted it in the general chat. Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my Discord was just lying to me. Yeah, so that VSC at the start, I had 11 seconds to slow down, right? It said it was counting down, had 11 seconds, and then we went green, and the game said, oh, sorry, penalty, drive through, even though I had 11 seconds to slow down. So that didn't help. I had to serve the drive through, can't have that removed, because if you don't serve it, you get, 10 seconds, or you get a disqualification.
So were you you already in the negative before the safety car ended? Yeah.
I was slowing down, like I was actively slowing down. It was just because I was taking a turn, and then the safety car ended suddenly. Because how are you supposed to know when it's supposed to end, right? Like it just ends suddenly.
Usually it says on the top.
Yeah, it says ending, but anyway, it gave me the pen, so I served the drive-through, and because otherwise I get DSQ'd, and then I dropped to the back. Right, it's all good. I'm like, okay, we can fight back. I've seen other drivers do it, so having a good fight. You know, the two Red Bulls in front of me. Bit tricky trying to get around them because, you know, just tricky to overtake. And then it starts raining. I'm like, okay, cool. I can stay out for a little bit. Get around uh, Morty, Uncle Morty. Yeah, I get around Uncle Morty after struggling to get around him for a couple laps. And then David in front of me, his back end fishtails. So I brake because otherwise I would have hit him. And then my car just goes sideways. And I didn't even think I hit the wall particularly hard, but I guess I did. And the wheel comes off. And as soon as the wheel comes off, you know you're cooked. So yeah, it wasn't fun. Put a lot of practice into this track. Got pole. But yeah, what can you do when EA just says surprise?
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
the
So
VSC penalty is a pretty common one these days with in this game in particular. And oh, here we go. So we are seeing drivers switch to the full wets on lap 24.
yeah, quite indeed. Oh, this track is getting quite wet, really slippery. This track is fully wet now. Nishka pulling out to the 6-second gap on H-Town.
Yeah, I mean that's a very strong gap there from the Alpine. We're watching Hunter right now try to chase down Keeper, but so anyways, we're gonna head back to you, Jackal. It is Miami next week. What are your thoughts around the Miami circuit?
Yeah, gonna be high tire deg. Gonna have to start practicing early. Singapore, I wasn't confident going into it. It's not my best track, so put a lot of time and effort into that. And you know, these things happen. 100% race. It starts to rain. It's just, you know, it happens in the real F1. But all we can do is do the same amount of practice for Miami and hope it works out.
Yeah,
All
of
right.
course.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on in to the commentary box. Unfortunate race, but hopefully it'll be better next week in Miami.
All right, thanks, bro.
So that was Jackal jumping on into the commentary box. I believe he is a full-time commentator for Division 3. So in a few days' time, if you want to hear Jackal again on the commentary box, then go ahead and check into Division 3, which I believe Division 3 is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it to be. Yeah, I believe it is.
So you can check in and hear Jackal go ahead and give his commentary. A very good commentator that I had the pleasure of commentating with him last last Div 3 race in Qatar. So it'll be a fun time in Division 3 as it always is. So we're still keeping on this battle here. Striker's actually really close now. There's actually a little bit of a three-way battle here for fourth, as Hunter is actually this could be a battle for third here momentarily, as Hunter is he goes a bit wide there going through the hairpin of turn number 13, as now he's going to try to chase down.
I think we're all good for now. A little caution in sector 2.
I think that might have just been somebody going deep. I mean, it's tricky because we're definitely at the crossover
and
point.
the Ferrari of Larkins is missing one of his end plates.
Indeed, yeah, he's missing the front left. So the left end plate of his car is gone. So that's gonna make things awful. I mean, this track in general, I mean, not having any part of your wing is pretty much detrimental anyway. But
And it's
especially, in these conditions. Yeah, just these conditions. As Filthy Orange goes ahead and jumps into the penalty club. He's got 3 seconds for track limit violations. Speaking of pens, we'll take a look at those real quick just to see who has what. And I think it's a bit of a moment there for Larkins. Having a bit of a moment. He's probably going to get overtaken by Filthy Orange here very, very soon. So, taking a look at the penalties now. Just as we're about to see a move here from the Mercedes. Does he have it? Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be a drag race now, coming down into turn number 8. And it looks like the positions are trading back and forth. But the Mercedes does have the wider line. Is he going to get the stick? I don't believe he is. It's going to be a drag race now once again. Filthy Orange tucking in behind a Ferrari, and it's a synchronized
Oh.
drift. Apparently, we are doing Formula Drift Singapore here in these tricky wet conditions. And these drivers are just fine to keep this car on the road.
Yeah, they are. Nifka pulling away even more, gaining up to that 10-second gap, almost opening up to a full pit stop here.
Yeah, I mean it's a very strong gap indeed from Nishka, doing pretty much everything he needs to. But what about Keeper? Keeper's been having a fantastic race here. He's been doing his job. He's getting a podium as it sits right now for Williams, which, like we talked about earlier, would bring in so many points for this team that desperately needs them. Might even be a P2 here if he can get past H-Town. We'll see what the Williams man can do. Taking a good amount of curve there. I think H-Town might be looking pretty close to a track limit penalty because he went wide there. I don't know how many warnings he has, but I mean, if he's not careful, I mean, even having, I mean, because it's typically about 3 warnings before you get slammed with the penalty. If he's at 2 right now, then it is a long race to go without getting that 3rd track limit violation.
Yeah, of course. Just gotta keep watching. Make sure he doesn't clip any more of those white lines. Just gotta stay within them all the time now.
Indeed.
Keeper really struggling to get onto the power, falling really far behind H-Town now.
And just behind, we have David going for a move. The sister car under pressure from the senior car here, as the Red Bull of David is trying to get closer to the back of Striker, trying to maybe get him and Hunter in one foul swoop. They're struggling right now on this tire. It is a very tricky track out here right now. I mean, a majority field still running on those intermediate tires. A few drivers did go to the full wet, so I mean, it is interesting to note that there's 2 drivers in particular, MPJ and TMT, both opting to go to the heavy wets. But I was actually expecting a few more drivers to make the switch onto the heavies. Oh, but we see that Striker goes wide, and that gives David the perfect chance to strike himself, going ahead and moving up into P5. Now, once again, we're going to head back over to Keeper, who is still putting pressure onto the Kick Sauber of H-Town. We'll see if
Now
H-Town...
getting close again.
Yeah, it's a bit of an
Falling
ebb and flow
behind
here.
Through corner exit, but making up time on those lengthy straights.
It might even be just a setup difference. Maybe Keeper's car, but oh, H-Town was very slow in that corner, giving Keeper a good chance. Might have been a bit of contact there. As we're watching this from the helicopter, could have been potential contact here between H-Town and Keeper, as H-Town had a really slow exit through the corner, which has normally been an issue with Keeper.
Yeah, so David's currently up 8 positions at the moment, and Chevy is up 9 positions. And we have Uncle Morty and Woofer up both 6 positions, and Filthy Orange up 4.
So we do have some pretty big movers up and down this field. Nishka's up 3 positions. Nishka having the race of his life right now. But Keeper, I think, is also having a very strong race here. The Williams man looking to give Williams their best finish in Division 6. Looking to give them a very solid P3 here on the streets of Singapore. It is, so according to chat, it is going to get dry eventually, but it'll probably be a while. It looks like the rain is kind of slowing down a bit.
Yeah, it seems to be. Dry line really showing now. So that you're going to have to start peering off onto the wet parts of the straight just to keep those inters cooled down.
Indeed. I mean, that is some. I mean, there's a good amount of opportunities here to do that. I mean, especially throughout the DRS zones, you can really just pull off. So, according to chat, dry is expected between lap 36 and 38. So that is when we are expecting this track to be dry or for the rain to stop. Maybe that's when it'll probably be around maybe lap 41 or 42. A rough guesstimate of when these intermediate tires will be swapped out for slicks.
Yeah, of course. Just got to keep watching. That Williams going. Oh,
Ooh! They might have
almost
touched
contact.
again. Oh, it's going to be a drag race now. We'll see who's got it better going into turn 14. Is he going to lick the stamp and send it? Yes, he is! The Williams man sending it. Oh, still contact.
Contact.
Just didn't commit enough. Because I think he had the overtake done. He just didn't commit.
Yeah, possibly. That's going to cost him a lot of time with Hunter now closing right onto the back of him. Sliding his rear end around those final corners of this lap.
Yeah, but H-Town isn't exactly pulling away either, and David is actually also really close to this battle, so David's got a shot at getting a podium here if he can go in and try to get past Hunter and Keeper, who both respectively seem to be having a bit of a tough time here in these wet conditions here, as the intermediate tires are getting older and older by the lap. David looking to make it 9 positions on the day here, trying to move up and see if he can really put a move on the Hunter. The Hunter is becoming the hunted right now, as David is trying to close that gap, but he's not closing it enough to really make a move. But I think he actually had a much better exit than Hunter, so now he is having a chance, and the Hunter is into the wall.
Yeah, definitely catching up all the way up.
Hunter tapped the wall a bit there. David had to check up, so unable to capitalize on the move. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate situation. But I think if David would have went to try to get the move there, I think it actually might have knocked off an end plate on his end. So I think that was a good call there from the Red Bull to kind of wait it out, because it seems like there's probably going to be a pretty good opportunity to overtake coming up here soon.
Yeah, the Red Bull just cooling his tires now. Touching that water, that standing water that's there.
So definitely not slick weather just yet. I mean, there's a very strong gaggle of cars here. That is pretty much just all lined up and ready for this battle for a P3. As Keeper now is going to be pretty much right up the gearbox of H-Town. Is he going to try to send the move here? Nope, not enough real estate. Not enough time to really try to get something going here. But once again, it is Keeper against H-Town, as Uncle Morty gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. And we are officially at the halfway stage of this Grand Prix here in Singapore. And I mean, in a normal Rush Racing League race, this would be the final lap, and this would be a fantastic battle to really keep an eye on. And we are still going to continue to keep an eye on how this battle is unfolding, because Keeper, he's got the pace, but he just hasn't been able to fully commit to getting an overtake done here.
Yeah, getting overtakes is already tough here. Doing it in the wet, even tougher. No DRS to help you on those straights. You got to get them in the corner, or you've got to have enough battery to push past them on the straights.
Exactly. So I mean, I think this move would have already been done and dusted several laps ago if there was that DRS, but the DRS really doesn't exist at the moment because of just the rain, and you won't get DRS in these conditions. So the lap, I mean, in about 5 laps or so, it's supposed to dry up a bit, so maybe we'll see the DRS kick back on. The rain still looks pretty steady though, so I'm not entirely too sure, but once again, anything can happen here. You do get a bit of a dry patch going under the bridge there as you go ahead and get ready to start a new lap. So we'll see. I mean, Keeper right now is very, very close. But H-Town has that good car positioning. Still just never enough space to really make a good overtake attempt. H-Town's doing fantastic on the positioning part. We'll see if how this is gonna play out. Krojag joins the penalty club, and are we gonna see a move here? No, it's just too much real estate yet again. So, I mean, it's been a really constant flow, and that's massive contact.
Into the back of H-Town. Doesn't look like there was any front wing damage there.
If there is, it is only about a scratch of the paint. Or I guess a scratch of the carbon fiber to be more precise. But still, at this stage, I mean, that was definitely contact. We can see the carbon bits flying off. And now, Keeper is... Well, here's the thing. Keeper was about out of DRS range, but he's just pretty much still keeping it in. Keeping it right behind H-Town. He's having better corner exits, I think, but I think now we're kind of seeing the opposite of what we saw earlier, is where H-Town was getting him on corners and losing or getting lost on straights. But now I think those roles have kind of reversed, where H-Town's better on the straights and Keeper is just better in the corners.
Yeah, we're starting to see that now. The track seems like it's starting to dry out as Wolfer gets a 3-second time penalty.
He does, yeah. He joins the penalty club as well. But all things considered, the rain is still coming down decently. It might be lightening up a bit, so this track is probably actually going to dry out by the lap 36 to 38. So, interesting stuff going on here. About 5 to 10 minutes left, according to chat, with the rain. So 2 more laps, and so what chat is suggesting is that in 2 laps, Keeper needs to swap out to the hards and try to go to the end of this race. Do you think that's going to work out, or do you think that's going to be more of kind of the same of what happened to MPJ earlier?
Yeah, so basically, if his inters aren't already overheating, wait until you see those inters getting really, really hot, and then you want to get off them. Because then the tire wear is just too much, and you know the track is dry enough.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Keeper's having such a good race. I'd really hate for him to kind of suffer the same fate that MPJ suffered a bit early on. So, I mean, yeah, he's got pace, that's for certain. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, the Williams man needs to he just needs really just to be appreciated, just for how good of a race that he's been having so far.
Yeah. Towards the end, maybe if the rain had ended towards the end, soft maybe would have been a bit of a good gamble, but unfortunately it's still too wet out here.
Yeah, honestly, you are 100% correct on that front. I mean, that's the thing I love about these kind of races from like a strategic point of view, is just that it is so hard to kind of plan things out. I mean, if you're this Williams, I mean, despite Atlassian having a lot of project management and just kind of overall management tools available to you, you can't really plan how the weather is going to behave. So Hayden Skate's getting another penalty for track limit violations. But still, on his task list for Keeper is a task that has been on his Giro board for quite some time. He needs to try to get past H-Town here.
Yeah, he's within 3/10 now. He needs to use that slipstream and all of his battery if he wants to get past. He needs to do it not on this first straight here, but probably the second one. That's probably one of the best places to overtake. Hoping that H-Town doesn't cause anything wrong. Gives him enough space so he can barely get by. Using enough ERS just to get up to speed now. going into the corner, backing off a bit, make sure to not go into the back of him, getting a bit of a better exit, using up all of that ERS.
Indeed.
H-Town just pulling away.
But, I mean, if we look at his battery, he's got 5% battery left compared to Keeper, and Keeper's going to finally send it. He can move that task to completed now. He gets the overtake. It's the overtake he needed. And, I mean, H-Dub does not have the battery to really fight back. So, Keeper's going to turn on the afterburners and just send it. The Williams man can take that task from his junior board to in progress and move it to complete. Keeper up in the second.
Yeah.
A very good move there.
Rain is starting to get really light now as we see the track starting to really dry out.
Indeed, yeah. So the prediction was spot on, just about as always. So, if I apologize for doubting the chat on their meteorology skills. On point again as always. Now David here is going to try to get a position up onto Hunter, but I mean, I know we've been talking a lot in recent, or just in the last few laps or so, about how good Keeper's race has been. But Hunter jumping in as a reserve for Mercedes here to replace Breadman. He's been doing a pretty solid job himself up in the fourth.
Yeah, he has been just keeping it safe, keeping it clean, and most importantly, probably just keeping those tires real nice and within proper temperature, so that they don't overheat and that they don't get too cold.
Yeah, it's always that's the trickiest thing is I will honestly kind of stand by the fact that the intermediates are probably one of the hardest tires to kind of manage in the game, especially if you're on a controller, because I feel like with the wets, it's typically a bit easier to manage the wets, at least in full wet conditions, but the intermediates are always a bit tricky to gauge sometimes because they have a very narrow window of the optimal tire temperature. Otherwise, it's like I said, they either get too hot or too cold really quickly.
Yeah, so with the inters, I actually think that it would be harder to manage the wets because the dry line just, it appears so fast when you have wet tires on track, and then the intermediate tires just really kick in as soon as that dry line comes in and those wet tires become unbearable, and it's just, they're no longer good.
That is a fair point. Now we're seeing some drivers go ahead and make the switch. DRS is enabled, so that's a pretty good sign that you can swap onto the slick tires and give it a go. Uncle Morty, both of the Astons, Chevy, and MPJ are now all swapping to those hard tires, or hard, well, woofers on the mediums, but everybody else switching to the hard compound tire. We're starting to see the slicks now come into play, and we'll see how these slicks do. We'll actually jump on board with Chevy to go ahead and kick things off here with the fresh tires, the fresh slicks on this track. The rain has fully stopped, and it looks like the dry line just kind of respawned magically. I mean, I know these intermediates have been spreading out the water quite a bit, but yeah, I definitely think slicks are the way to go right now.
Yeah, so as we can probably see, here we are, Nishka coming into the pits. Keeper also coming into the pits. Everyone's going to be pitting now. Everyone diving into the pits now. Except for Filthy Orange, he's staying out.
Probably just trying to avoid a double stack with his teammate is what I would assume. So probably some drivers will go ahead and just try to favor one driver essentially and just try not to get the double stack, because the double stack can really kill time if it goes if it doesn't go correctly. And
Yeah,
I mean,
but we should also look back to McLaren 2024 British Grand Prix, where Oscar Piastri got basically shafted by staying out an extra lap instead of double stacking. He lost so much time because instead of double stacking, he stayed out and lost more time than he would have double stacking.
yes, I mean, sometimes the double stack can really work, but other times it just doesn't play out in your favor. So, I mean, you really just gotta, I mean, granted, I know the strategy teams could probably cook up a far better strategy than I could potentially, and they can pretty much say like, hey, this is what we're going for. We need to pit it on this lap. This is the projected time that, well, we'll just use Filthy Orange as an example, as the orange driver stayed out. This is how much time Filthy Orange is going to lose in the pits for the double stack, and I think they may have factored that he's going to lose more time in the pits than he will on track. So I think that's probably why they kept Filthy out for another lap. That's just my
Yeah.
thought.
Unfortunately, he's already lost 2 seconds to Nishka. And he may lose another one before he even gets into the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very entertaining race here so far. I mean, where Division 4 had a ton of drama, carnage, collisions, and things like that for Nishka to actually get his first time commentating. Chad is saying, and I agree, that you actually did pick a very good race to go ahead and get started with. I know we joked earlier about you getting thrown straight to the fire with your first race on commentary being a 100% race. But I mean, this race has had quite a lot of things. I mean, it's got interchangeable conditions, safety cars, and overall, I think you are doing a very good job, and I think the chat will agree.
Yeah, let's hope that they do. Everyone's now on to the dry compounds. We have Hunter, Striker, Filthy Orange, and Woofer all on mediums. Everyone else gone hard.
So that's a pretty interesting split. You don't think that these mediums could, on the off chance, make it to the end of this race, right? Surely they're gonna have to stop again.
I believe that they might have to, but yeah, those hards, they're definitely gonna last right to the end. Those mediums, unless you're saving them like crazy, I don't know whether or not they'll make it to the end. These mediums have a life range of about 17 to 20 laps at most. So it's just, yeah. Oh, and a Ferrari's into the wall. Larkins is out.
And that's a safety car.
Oh, and Nishka is going to lose his 15 second lead.
That is disaster for Ferrari. Once again, running into trouble in Division 6. But also, I mean, it's unfortunate for Nishka that that gap is just going to be straight up non-existent. But that is going to allow Keeper to get in the shadow, even winning this thing, because they're on the same tires. They put it in the same lap. And so if Keeper keeps up the good performance that he's having so far, Williams could get a win here. They could go from being at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the constructors here, I think even in the overalls, to getting a win here in Singapore.
Yeah.
I mean, H-Town is also brought into contention as well, because H-Town's had some pretty good pace overall, and he's been really good on the defense here, considering how much he held up Keeper for Nishka to get that massive gap. But I mean, overall, I mean, this could really shake things up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's just wait for everyone to catch up. So far, we have Keeper just about to catch up to the safety car, and then everyone else will slot in behind. 17th and 18th. Yeah, still catching up with the safety car due to being lapped.
So, I guess while we are waiting for the race to kind of go back to being green, do you have a prediction that we should get set up in chat?
Well, to be honest, I think Nishka's gonna win. Like, honestly, Nishka wins.
Ooh, all right. So
That's my prediction. I'm going for the race win prediction.
I mean, that's a pretty good one to have. I mean, you could probably get a H-Town is out.
H-Town retired.
Yeah, retired in the pits.
Oh wow.
What happened there? I was just gonna say, I think, I think the getting a winner prediction would be a good thing, but I mean, H-Town is out, so that actually removed an option I was gonna at least include into the prediction. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
do this. SJ, if you're watching, we have a prediction we would like to go ahead and put in chat. Who is gonna win this race? I'm gonna say it is. Well, let's at least include the top five, because I think the top five really have a shot at this, considering how close they're going to be with the safety car restart. And then you could put one as other. I mean, I may just be a little bit on the hype train here, considering his performance. But I'm going to go with Keeper as my pick.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm gonna go for Nishka. I don't think that Hunter or Striker have a chance at the win here. They're on mediums. Maybe this safety car will grant them that passage to get to the end. But if Nishko can hold up a good defense, I don't think not many people are gonna get past him.
Indeed. So we do have a surprise interview request with H-Town. H-Town, if you are available, please come on into the commentary box. We'd like to ask you a few questions, maybe see what happened and why you retired. But if you can, please jump on into the commentary box for H-Town. Yeah, because that's a very baffling retirement. Hopefully everything's okay, because, I mean, he was having a good race. I mean, the only thing I could potentially see is maybe a hardware failure forced him to come onto the pits and retire. That's the only thing that I could possibly think of that might have been the case. Hopefully it's not some kind of IRL emergency that would have caused it, but yeah, let's just hope for the best here.
Yes, of course.
I am half tempted. Should I go all in on the prediction for the race winner here? You know what, chat? Let me know what you think. Should I spend all 24K of my channel points on my prediction here? I mean, I know we're not Kick, so we're not exactly the gambling streaming platform, but I'm feeling a little I guess in honor of the fallen Kick, the fallen stake F1 team Kick Sauber machine. I feel like gambling a little bit.
Yeah.
To answer your question of what happened to H-Town, that is a good question. We have no idea yet. Retired in the pits, so see if there's anything actually in the Discord potentially saying anything about what happened here. Yeah, I don't see anything in I don't see anything actually in Discord about H-Town's sudden retirement. Well, as unfortunate as that mysterious DNF was, the good news is we're about to be back to racing action here on lap 41 out of 62. It'll be lap 42 by the time we get going back here. Nishka backing up the pack now.
Oh, here's H-Town.
Alright, H-Town, just walk us through what happened. What caused you to retire from this Grand Prix?
Went to grab a drink of water, pulled the cord. My AI went into attack mode and broke my wing and messed up my front wheel. Excuse me. I'm really upset. I apologize.
Oh.
And it's kind of just crapping itself right now.
Oh, that is awful. You hate to see
Yeah.
it. I mean, we've said time and time again that the AI stands for artificial intelligence, but in F1 games, they tend to forget the intelligence part. So, Yeah, that
Official idiot, that's for sure.
that is. I mean, that was really unfortunate. I think you had a really strong chance of a podium or even a win here in Singapore.
Yeah, I know I did. I was the quickest on the dry tire, uh, and it's just really upsetting.
Well, obviously you do have the NA division coming up later on this week. If you are participating, how are you fancying your chances there?
It's Imola. I like that track, so I can't wait to get out there. I need to figure out. Well, I know why my wheel did that. It's because I'm the idiot and unplugged it by accident by grabbing for a drink of water. Um, but I need to figure out something on how this doesn't happen again and just figure out how I could capitalize because I keep having too many of these races where I do good and I get nothing from them. So um, you just gotta
Oh,
capitalize.
and I
And
think that was a Williams in the wall.
that was a Williams in the wall, not the one that had that's still within the potential to win here, but it is Hayden Skates having been an unfortunate moment. Last question before we let you go, H Town. You have an Imola sprint in NA, and then next week, actually about 24 hours afterwards, you do have Division 6 going around Miami, a circuit you've raced around before in the North America division. So, do you think that that North America division helps you out in preparing for Miami next week in Div 6?
Yeah, I mean any time I can have on the game is help in practice. Um, so I just need to just keep practicing and just put the time in.
Indeed, practice makes perfect. Well, anyways, well, it's unfortunate to hear about the situation that caused you to crash. Um, Best of luck to you in NA, and then we'll see you back next week for Div 6.
Thank you.
I I kind of had a feeling it was a technical issue because that did seem pretty much straight out of left field. But I mean, I have seen a whole championship decided on a wheel failure before. Actually, I think it was season six. I want to say Div 3 or Div. No, it might have been Div 5. It was Protein Group, whose championship run ended because of a wheel failure at Baku. Um, so, I
Ooh,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I've seen whole
Rough.
championships end over mechanical failures.
Reminds me of what was it? Alonso 2025 Bahrain. Oh, and TMT left the session.
That is unfortunate. I'll try to get him back in ASAP. You don't happen to have him added, do you?
No, I don't believe I do.
Oh, I got him, so it's all good. We are back to live picture. Um, Fastest lap right now is going to Nishka with a 134. I think he's actually the only driver to set a 134 in any lap. So that is a very rapid lap time there for the Alpine. And then we head back to the interval counter as we see that David is up another position. He's up in the fourth. He's going to try to make sure the Hunter is being hunted yet again for a potential podium. Definitely a strong candidate for driver of the day. Maybe a bit of I think that was a bit of a lag moment there between himself and Stryker. Looked like Stryker did tap the back of him, but I think the car's reset, so I think that was just a bit of a connectivity blip, as these things do tend to happen when you have a lot of very talented drivers from a lot of different countries. Nishka once again setting another fastest lap, and there's penalties, it looks like, coming through, unless I'm just now. No new penalties coming through. It looked like a bunch of penalties just spawned in, but they must have been already pre-existing penalties. Speaking of that, let's go check out what the penalties are. So we have 3 seconds for Filthy, Uncle Morty, Woofa, Crowjack, Paul and Hell, and Dwight, with both Quicksilver and Hayden having 9 seconds of pens.
So MPJ entering the pits. TMT also in the pits.
Oh, they're checking on the soft tires. Well, I know MPJ had to get a new wing, We see that there. He's getting a new wing, and he's going to go to get back going onto the circuit. But it's interesting that MPJ is really trying to get these soft tires operational. A interesting call, but I mean, at this
TNT
stage,
going on to old mediums. 17 lap old mediums.
yeah, I think that's just the problem that we've been seeing with a few of these drivers now. Is just, I mean, I think with TMT in particular, I think he's just run out of options. So I think his only set of tires left out wasn't a pair of softs, was a set of old mediums, and that is a race-defining penalty here for Nishka. 3-second time penalty for track limit
Jeez.
violations.
Poor Nishka. He can still win this race, but he needs to stay above those 3 seconds.
He does. I'll try to invite TMT again. There he goes.
That would be nice. I was going to ask you, but unfortunately Nishka got a penalty. So yeah, he has escaped the penalty by at least 1 second now from keeper.
I mean, that has the potential to be a race-defining penalty here. Because, I mean, if at any point Keeper gets within enough of a time gap to really close in on 3 seconds or quicker to Nishka, then Keeper is going to get the win here in Division 6 for Williams, a team that desperately, I mean, they're going to be cheering about the podium that they're pretty likely to get here at this point, but getting a win for Williams would just make the Williams crowd super happy. And I mean, I can just imagine the massive grin on Dito's face, the Williams TP, if Keeper could get a win here today.
Yeah, precisely. We still have 16 laps to go. So let's see how close Keeper can get. Almost within that penalty range of 3 seconds. He just needs to keep pushing against Nishka.
He does. He needs to keep on going. Let's see about the battery, though. They're about the same battery, so. And Keeper got the fastest lap of the race. Not for long. Striker does take it again. It isn't. Actually, it's Hayden's in the wall.
In the wall again.
Hayden into the wall. He's lost the entirety of his front wing. That is unfortunate to say the least. I know it was definitely just an accident because Hayden has had a few incidents here on track, kind of struggling to maneuver the tricky streets. But I mean, if that were to bring out a safety car or a caution, I'm sure somebody in chat will say that Williams would have pulled a crash gate. Thankfully that didn't happen, because I feel like if that accusation were to come out, it would just be just a bit of a stretch. But
Hayden skates 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and get TMT another invite, because he did have to reload his game. EA doing EA things, unfortunately, as MPJ does get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And yeah, it's looking pretty good for quite a few drivers up and down the grid. Keeper is just within 3 seconds. He is within 3 seconds now. If he keeps his gap, then he's going to win based on the penalties.
Yeah, unfortunate for Nishka, but if both of them keep pushing, this could be a really tight race win.
Indeed, potentially one of the tightest of the season, and Williams is going to be ecstatic. I mean, they're probably already ecstatic about this result anyway, but the win would just mean so much to the squad that has had probably the worst start to a season that you could have possibly had. I mean, I think they were pretty much, I mean, I have to check all the divisions, but I know for a fact in the overalls and here in Div 6, they were at the bottom of the barrel coming into this week. They were P10. But a win here would do so much for them here. The gap has kind of extended again, but I mean, it's still possible, still within the realm of possibility. So Williams fans, get riled up, cheer your boy on, and if you're an Alpine fan, go ahead and get riled up, cheer your boy on, because this is going to be a very tight end to the race.
Yes, indeed. So keeper's already fallen back to about 3.2 seconds as it is now. Got lots of battery storage, hoping to use it on these massive straights down the back here. Trying to close in on Nishka right now. Using up all of his battery.
Indeed. I also do want to make an unfortunate mention here that I believe that glitch that bugged out and caused a few of the drivers in Div 5 to not be able to rejoin the session for console has once again reared its ugly head as TMT is still unable to get back into the lobby. That is really unfortunate. I hope that gets fixed in a patch pretty soon, because that is really unfortunate. It brings back unfortunate memories of Division 2 last season of I can't remember if it was Div 2 or Div 4 last season, where um, XD Lamb, also known as Ryan, does get really good positions. He does really strong in the race, and then this Xbox essentially explodes, kicking him out of the lobby. So just kind of reminds me of those times back on F1 24. Although I think he's since had those issues fixed, but that's kind of what this whole situation with TMT reminds me of.
Yeah. Unfortunately, EA doing EA things. So we just can't get him back in the lobby. Unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate to say the least, but fortunately we still have 16 drivers still in the race. Lots of good battles going on here, like this battle we've been kind of on board with for a moment now, of Striker and David. The Racing Bull against the Red Bull here, trying to go and see if he can jump up into fourth, but I mean there's still penalties to a good chunk of this field, so Quicksilver's going to go and get past Chevy Wolves here in a battle for P11. And this battle, I think, is not quite over yet, as Quicksilver is going to go ahead and get a good run. And he's going to actually kind of open the door up for Chevy to try to get a move done around the outside. But good car positioning prevents the kick Sauber from going ahead and jumping up position. Now, granted, with the Rush Racing League point system, everybody here except P16 will score points, so just about everybody who finishes this race will get points, as we are
and Chevy going around the outside.
That was a beautiful move and a bit of a snap contact between the Ferrari and the Sauber. Think of a bit of a checkup there from Chevy. He had to go ahead and he got squirreled there on corner exit. Quicksilver with no quick way around and a little bit of contact. And there's a caution yet again. I think it's Hayden again. I think Hayden, he's missing another end plate. So I mean, at this point he's just really running out of tires.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately, he's getting major blue flags again.
Yeah, I know in chat earlier that Filthy Orange.
That Mercedes really closing in on him.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I know earlier that we were talking about Filthy Orange having 10 seconds of penalties, which I don't see that actually represented here. Still showing 3 on our end, but Hayden's got 22 seconds of penalties, which is I mean, it just kind of shows that with Williams right now in this race in particular, it really is a tale of two cities. You know, one driver 43 laps behind the car directly ahead and a lap down at least, and then you got 22 seconds of pens, and then you have the other that is pretty much teetering on the edge of being in reach of winning this race. So really is
definitely.
just, like I said, tale of two cities here for the Williams squad. Pretty much right now we're on board with Crojack, who is pretty much right up the wing of Uncle Morty here. Now Crojack he's done some impressive work ever since jumping into Rush last week in Qatar for Ferrari. Got him what I think might be their best result of the season in Div 6, and now looking to put Alpine And it gets
Oh,
spot on
right
a little
up
bit of
the back.
contact. Just a smidge of contact here. As you just take a look at the tires, and oh, he's
Oh.
deep! He went
And
a
he's
bit
lost
too
place
deep.
to the Aston.
Yep, lost a part of his wing and a position. That is a commentator's curse if I've ever seen one.
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure over your time as a commentator you will experience quite a few of these. As we're experiencing a very good battle between the Ferrari and the Haas. Quicksilver and Dwight fighting tooth and nail around the circuit. And it looks like Quicksilver in general has just been fighting quite a bit. And he's into the pits. So he's going to go ahead and swap out that end plate. Maybe now thinking about a set of soft tires. 10 laps to go in this Grand
No,
Prix.
he's going on to mediums.
Interesting call there. So what do you make of this race, with all things considered?
Really, really tight. That first and second being separated by just a penalty at this point. It is really rough out front. Third, fourth, and fifth all fighting for position out there. And then sixth and ninth, just a big old DRS train. Actually, all the way down to 10th. And then from 11 to 16, it's kind of all just a bit dead back there. All being separated by a bit of big margins, except for Dwight against Chevy. They're kind of close. But for the most part, this race has been really exciting. Bits of contact, you don't really want to see that, but overall exciting overtakes, especially Uncle Morty on Filthy Orange just then.
Indeed. I mean, that's the thing about Rush Racing League and Singapore. It is probably one of the best esports and racetrack combinations that you could possibly think of. I mean, every time we've come to Singapore, it has just been pure cinema at the circuit. I mean, it's one of those tracks I'm not a big fan of in the real world. I'm not really big on driving for it, and watching most of the IRL Singapore Grand Prix it hasn't been super exciting. But when you come to Rush Racing League, I mean, heck, Rush Racing League is probably the only league that I know of that can make Monaco an exciting race. So, I mean, that just shows you the amount of talent that is here in this league. And there's a reason why we're the best league in OCE.
Oh, Nish is out!
No way! That changes everything for this race! Oh no, we were on board with a battle. And Anishka's out.
Wow.
It's a VSC. So, I mean, Keeper's going to keep his gap. But, oh. I'm speechless. Like, I'm actually speechless. Nishka was, I mean, it was kind of interesting to see if he could win anyway, considering the penalty, but now we know for a fact that he's out of this race. Oh.
Surprisingly, no pit stop from Keeper to go into, and no one's pitting onto the softs.
I mean, considering how the safety car, or if it was a full safety car, I think we would have seen some drivers pit in, but the VSC is a bit of a tricky one to kind of navigate when it comes to these, when it comes to pit stops, because I've seen it
Filthy
a few
Orange
times
in the box.
where some drivers just go ahead and make the pit stop, and then right as they actually switch to the tires before they even get back going, it pretty much just starts immediately, so you're pretty much caught on the back foot anyway. Yep, as I called it. Pretty much called it there. We're back on the green flag racing now, and it is Keeper in the lead of the Grand Prix after a shock DNF from Nishka. It's unfortunate timing for the Alpine driver, but it is very fortunate for Keeper. Hunter, though, is pretty much in the hunt, and he collides with the wall. A bit of a snap, losing a good chunk of that front left. And, ooh, this is looking very tantalizing as Striker Picks his time to strike. A bit of a snap coming out of the corner for him as well. But he's up in the second. I mean, it is all firing off here. All sorts of drama here in these final 10 laps of the Grand Prix. And now we are officially at that stage of, if you finish the race, you can get points. But man, I don't think anyone was expecting what happened there with Nishka.
Yeah, unfortunate crash from him. We do have a surprise interview requesting Nishka.
Indeed, we do. So, Nishka, if you are available, please jump on into the commentary box. We'd like to have a word with you and just kind of talk about what happened there. Unfortunate DNF. I mean, I know sometimes, especially after. I mean, he led the race for a vast majority of the race, and then just to have that kind of moment happen and just really have the rug pulled out from under you, essentially. I know personally I would not be in the mood to talk, but it has been requested, so if you can and if you want to, come on in. We'll chat with you for a bit, but oh, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was indeed.
Huh. Well, I think in about 2 laps time, I think we really got to start discussing driver of the day. I mean, I'm actually pretty torn, honestly, because, I mean, just for the story of it all, I mean, you got to really think about Keeper, just the story of Williams struggling throughout most of the season. They're 10th in the Constructors, and then they could pull out with a win here in Singapore. It's a really good story. But you also got Uncle Morty, who's up 12 positions. You got Chevy up 12 positions. You got David up 10 positions into a podium for Red Bull. So, I mean, there's a lot of drivers who have done a lot of moves here.
Yeah. Oh, we had someone join. They left. To be honest, I think it's one of the Red Bulls. Uncle Morty's up 12 places. David's up 10. Either one of them, I wouldn't discount for driver of the day.
All right, so we do have Nishka in here, I believe. So Nishka, I mean, that was basically a breathtaking incident there. Just what happened?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to push that gap back out to above 3 seconds there, just because I got a silly quarter cutting 3 seconds. So yeah, I kind of just missed the braking zone, and then when I was trying to get back on the track, just clipped the wall. And yeah, that was my race.
I mean, overall, how did you feel about your race pace in Singapore?
I felt on the dries. Well, I went with a wetter setup because we seen the rain was coming. So yeah, we went with a higher downforce. So that's probably why I was pretty strong in the wet. But it was kind of hurting us in the dry there at the end. So that safety car really put us on the back foot there to try and hold off. Like keeper in second there was closing the gap like ever slightly the whole time. So yeah, I started trying to push a little bit harder, got a pen, and then yeah, we'll see what happened now.
Yeah, I mean, that was just pure heartbreak. Like, we could not believe that what we were seeing actually left us speechless for quite a while. Do you think that you have a chance of trying to get retribution in Miami next week?
We'll put in the practice this week. We'll see how we go. We'll pick ourselves up and go again.
All right.
Obviously disappointed right now, but yeah.
All right. I'll pass you over to Aardvark if he's got any questions or comments for you.
Yeah, just. Oh man. All right. I'll say this. I was cheering for you, man. I was like, I kept on getting scared every time Keeper got within those 3 seconds. I put all those channel points on you, and it's like, oh no, and then he's out.
Ooh,
I think
Paulin
yeah.
was stuck in a wall momentarily. He's lost a handful of positions. Back to you.
Yeah. Unfortunate crash. Yeah, I know how these walls can be. You clip it the wrong way and there goes your wheel. So, yeah,
Yeah,
very
I
unfortunate
was.
for you, man.
Yeah, I was definitely riding that one with yeah, keeper behind me as well. I was trying to push, man, but yeah, is what it is.
Yeah, of course. Oh well, I guess you get to try again next week in Miami. Good luck.
Yep. Yes, thanks, boys.
All right, it is now time for us to go ahead and officially go for our picks for driver of the day. I'm gonna stick with keeper for my pick just because of the story behind it and just how Williams has had such a rough start to the season, and now they're gonna get a potentially get a win off of it. So that's my pick for driver of the day.
I'm actually gonna go for Chevy Wolves. He's got up 13 places, maybe even might even get 14 if he keeps pushing.
Indeed, I think he would have got it anyway due to penalties. And speaking of a penalty, 10-second penalty for Paulin speeding in the pit lane. But yeah, I think Chevy, a bit of a slide there. But
Ooh.
I think yeah, both of them are very solid candidates for driver of the day. So it is keeper for myself, and Aardvark is going with Chevy Wolves as our picks for driver of the day. I mean, both drivers really do deserve it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a while David and Uncle Morty, the Red Bulls, were very heavily considered, considering how many places they moved up. But I think, and the thing about Chevy is he didn't even set a time in qualifying, so he didn't even have a proper qualifying chance. He just couldn't get anything going, and then made up for it here in the Grand Prix. So I think he's a good choice. I mean, there's so many good choices that could have been made up and down this field. I mean, obviously the Red Bulls were a pretty good pick. Wolf has had a solid drive as well. Um,
Yeah, the Red Bulls were a close second pick for me, but honestly, seeing how Chevy Wolves has climbed his way back from the bottom has really, um, yeah, just shown that. Um, yeah, it's why I picked him. He's just pulled his way all the way from the back of the grid. So yeah,
I might
that's my
even make
pick.
it 14 positions once he gets his move done on the Woofa. He does. He's got the DRS. He's got the
Very
speed. No
good.
real contest from Woofa. But yeah, I mean, either side, I can see it. Either way, I see it. I mean, this has been a race of just good drives. I mean, honestly, like, I know we did talk about it a bit earlier, but we do got to mention the Red Bulls. I mean, the Red Bulls have both had a very strong drive indeed. I mean, if we had a team of the day, it would 100% go to Red Bull. They've combined, they've gained 22 positions. So, as like a,
Yeah,
I know team of the day isn't a thing, but team of the day's got to go to Red Bull 100%.
yeah. That third and fourth for Red Bull is gonna be yeah, gonna be amazing for them. Keeper looks
Indeed.
like he's going on to win this race with a 4.4 second gap. It's looking really, really good for him at the moment.
And also, I've just been informed via Twitch chat that Keeper's got a flu, and he's putting up this mighty fine performance. I mean, Singapore, full distance, and a flu?
Uh,
I
oh,
mean,
usually Singapore does not give out free passes to people, but it obviously has given one to Keeper today.
the racing gods have smiled upon Williams in their time of need. And now, here's an interesting statistic as MPJ? Yeah, MPJ was in the wall for a moment. But here's an interesting statistic for today's race. At some point in each race, it was a McLaren sandwich, a Sauber sandwich, and then now a Williams sandwich. So we've had 3 different sandwiches here in Singapore. That is your fun stat of the day.
Fair enough. That is a nice start.
Sick party in the Twitch chat commenting about how Keeper was sick, and he says, "Sick, you say?" A perfect time to have that username. I mean, yeah, it is the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix, and I mean, it is a story that is heartwarming to the Rush Racing community. Williams, a team that has struggled so much in the opening parts of the season. They were P10 in the constructors coming into this race. And actually, I'm going to pull the overalls too, just because I know they were not in a great spot in the overalls either coming into this week. It was a tricky start. They are in 10th in the overalls after Qatar. I know there's been a few races since then, but coming into this week, they were in last by a very good margin. Their nearest competitor was Haas, who has 189 points, while Williams had 158. And then in Div 6, they're also at the bottom here. So this drive is exactly what Williams needed here today.
Yeah, quite definitely. And hopefully we get to see that.
I believe we will. He's just got to keep it within the white lines. And he's just got to keep at least 3 seconds ahead of Striker. So in case he does get a penalty, then he can still just keep it going. But I mean, it's been a story of just fantastic drives, many positions gained for a lot of these drivers. I mean, you have Chevy Wolves up 14 positions. You have Uncle Morty and David up 22 positions combined. Woofa's up 8. Quicksilver's up 6. Overall, these drivers are having very fantastic drives here today. It is the final lap of the Grand Prix here in Singapore. And the world is essentially revolving around this driver right here. As one Williams has gotten another 3-second time penalty, the other is having the drive of his life here. Only another half a lap to go, and Keeper will be a Grand Prix winner here in Division 6.
Yeah, definitely. Just watching this lap, using up all of his battery, hitting all the apexes beautifully as he pushes for that finish line.
And seeing a lot of soccer analogies here for the Williams. So he is going to go ahead, and he's only got about a handful of corners left to go. They're mostly easy corners from here. Even if he did manage to grab a 3-second time penalty, he would be okay. He would still have about a 1-second gap to Striker just behind us. Paulin does get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Aston Martin, but he's only got a handful of corners left to go. From being last in the constructors to being first on the racetrack, it has been a mighty fine drive for Keeper. And against the odds, Keeper wins the Singapore Grand Prix in a beautiful fashion through attrition and 62 laps of pure determination while under the weather. That is a race victory that Williams have so desperately needed. Striker coming in P2 and David in P3.
Yeah, amazing strategy and race from all these guys on track. Unfortunate for Nishka to DNF. He was in the lead for so long. It's rough. Jackal DNFing towards the start of the rain. J Mackey also DNFing. Larkins in the wall. H-Town having to retire because of his wheel messing up, and then TMT not being able to reconnect to the game. Overall, really, really good race. Unfortunate for a lot of these people, though.
You can really sum this up to as a race of attrition, because if you think about it, out of the top 4 drivers that were in qualifying, I mean, Jackal had his crash, H-Town had his wheel issues, and then you had Nishka bending it from just trying to push too hard. And then you have Keeper, who kept it clean, kept it tidy, and kept it within the white lines, and kept it going until the checker flag waved. What a drive from the Williams.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that is such a well-deserved win. I mean, congratulations. to all these drivers, I can only imagine the massive grin on the face of pretty much everybody at Williams. It has been a fantastic drive. He did what he needed to, but I mean, like I said earlier, this race was full of good drives. I mean, the Red Bulls had a good drive, Striker had a good drive, Chevy Wolves having a fantastic drive himself, and I mean, the celebration is definitely warranted for these top three here. So let's go ahead and make our way through the finishing order of this Grand Prix. So it is Keeper taking the win here, followed by Striker, David, Uncle Morty, Crowjag, Chevy Wolves, Woofa, Filthy Orange, Hunter, Dwight, Quicksilver, Pollen, and then we have TMT, who unfortunately was down a lap due to his game crashing and him unable to rejoin the session. Then we have MJP, and then Hayden Gates, the last of the finishing drivers. And then we have the retirees of Nishka, H-Town, Larkins, Jackal, and J Mackey. That pretty much rounds out our grid. Fast lap going to Pollen, like I mentioned earlier. But oh boy, just give us a summary of that race from your perspective, Advar, because that was a cinematic race there.
Yeah, lots of controversy, lots of competitiveness. Loved the overtakes for some people. Unfortunate for some of the people who crashed. Um, Penalties were high, so kept everybody on their toes. So yeah, just overall an amazing race, especially for a 100% race.
Indeed. So I mean that is pretty much just probably one of the most entertaining races I've seen in a very long time here. Now we're going to go ahead and jump over to the interviews. So if we can have David and Striker also jump on in to the commentary box, we'll go ahead and get you guys sorted with an interview. But let's go ahead and talk to the main man, the Williams driver of Keeper, getting the win that Williams has been needing for so long. How are you, Keeper?
I am spent, mate. I'm spent.
I mean, you had such a good race. I mean, what was your reaction to Nishka getting that DNF there as you're trying to get within that 3 seconds?
Oh, look, mate. As soon as I was just driving around trying to keep the gap to the people behind me, to be honest. Until he got that 3 second, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to push because there's still a chance I could get it on penalties. And obviously I was still a bit away from him, but I don't know if maybe that gap might have made him be pushing a little bit harder and forced him into a mistake. I'm not sure, but my first reaction was trying to avoid hitting him because I come around the corner and he was there. So the first reaction was just try to not get involved in it and get through. So yeah, feel sorry for him though because he drove a great race and yeah, it was his to lose for sure.
Now, how do you feel about getting the first race win of the season for Williams? I think period, definitely in Div 6, but I think overall it's the first win for Williams this season.
It feels fantastic, mate. Obviously, it's my first race win in Rush as well, so yeah, massive achievement. I'm really happy with that. Obviously, that's we've had some drivers move up, and a couple of drivers were out this week, but you got to take your chances when they come, and thankfully I was able to do that tonight.
Indeed, I mean it was once again a amazing drive. You also got driver today, so you get an extra point on top of that. So congratulations.
Awesome, thank you very much.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pass you on to Aardvark if he's got any questions or comments.
Yeah, amazing race, man. Um, yeah, that was quite the drive. I'll say that much. Uh, while I was cheering for Nishka in the initial parts after his DNF, you just kept it cool, maintained that gap, and you were able to push it right to the end. So good on you for that.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. And yeah, like again, for those that don't know, Nishka's a good mate of mine, so indeed I will vouch for it because he was in the engineer's box. But I was, for my first initial reaction, wasn't even happy that I was in first. So I was absolutely gutted for him. So I know for a fact exactly how many hours he's put in on Singapore doing 100% practice races this week, and it's been a lot. So yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah, he did one with me, but yeah, unfortunately it all just come to the end during the Singapore Sling, I believe it was.
Yeah.
very
It's not a nice
unfortunate
part of
for
the
them.
track. A little bit further, but that quick right hander before the hairpins where I lost my wheel in the evals. So it's a rough part of the track.
Yeah, it is.
All right, one last question before we let you go. It is Miami next week. How do you feel around racing in Miami?
Well, this is my first season back in sim racing, and I'll be honest with you, I've only done probably one practice race around there before, so it's a bit of an unknown to me. So obviously I'll be head down this week and put in some practice hours, and hopefully I can be up the front somewhere next week as well.
Awesome. Well, once again, congratulations on the win and driver of the day, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, Varg. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take Striker first with the interview, the driver who finished in second place.
Oh, Striker got back to second. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. Good on him. Yeah, you had a pretty good race. Everybody just DNFing around you, holding position.
Yeah,
How stressful was that?
yeah, pretty much. It was a stressful race. I was in traffic most of the race. I had a poor start and dropped 2 or 3 spots, then just had to bide my time, and everyone just made mistakes in front of me. And just tried to put as much pressure on Cooper as I could at the end of the race, but he just had too much pace, so I just had to settle for second.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
that's good.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all from me.
All right. So Striker, P2 in the race. How did you find the mixed conditions out there with the intermittent rain?
Yeah, it was pretty tough actually. Pretty slow in the rain, so I found it hard to just to maintain my position in the rain, and just had to wait for the weather to clear. Once it was dry, it was a little bit easier for me.
All right, and I'll ask you the same question I asked Keeper before. Miami is next week. What are your thoughts, and how do you feel that you're going to go around Miami?
Probably a pretty similar track to this one for me, to be honest. It is another track where you just have to stay out of trouble, stay off the walls, and just see how it goes.
All right. Is there anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
No, all good. Congratulations to Cooper and David. David drove a clean race. Yeah, congratulations to him and the leader, Cooper. I think he drove a great race as well.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. So, David, you got a very good podium here. Very strong drive from you. You were up, I think it was 10 positions by the end of the race. So, how did you feel about Singapore this week?
Oh, normally I don't like Singapore just because it's carnage and chaos and you don't know what's going to happen. But then the race kind of really fell to me in the first phase. And then I was just telling Mort in the party we were just in, the rain actually helped me because it was quite evident in the rain I had the pace on a couple of guys. And that allowed me to just break away. And then when we got to the dries, it says Striker said he was too quick in the dry, and like you guys had the battle of us on, and I saw his battery, saw my battery. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight him. And then pretty much it just turned into get the car home. Like I didn't want to lose P3 and crash out, considering the week that Red Bulls had so far. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a very strong result. Both you and your teammate made up a total of 22 positions in that Grand Prix, so that is a fantastic stat. And I was saying earlier on in the broadcast that if there was a Team of the Day award as well, then Red Bull 100% would have got it.
Oh, that's just me and Mort. Me and Mort kind of spoke about this season and what we wanted to do, and we quickly came to the realization after these first couple of rounds that we aren't the top guys in this tier, but we're guys that if we can keep our nose out of trouble, keep it clean, and just do our own thing, we can make up spots and basically be the team's bankers. Is what I'd call it. Like for those out there that don't know, Red Bull this week has had 5 DNFs through
Mm.
various unlucky situations. And I was saying yesterday to the tier 5 guys, I said we really need, like, I know I don't normally say this, but we need points from our back 3 teams. And me and Mort are really quite chuffed at doing what we needed tonight just to turn a bad week into a week where we've kind of just salvaged something. So me and Mort have known each other for a while, and we were both pretty happy about that. So you definitely take races like that where you both have a really good race, and yeah, it's just good for the team and a little bit of a morale booster too, considering what's been happening.
Indeed, it's kind of like a similar situation with Williams, where Williams has had a very rough start to the season, and for you guys, it was a really rough start to the week. So, a good result for both teams. Last question before I pass you on to Aardvark. It is Miami next week. How do you guys feel about it?
I still got 4 more league races to do before I even think about Miami, but yeah, look, I don't like Miami. It's just there's something about it with my driving style that doesn't suit it. So it's pretty much next week going to be a case of drive to survive. Make sure you keep the nose clean, don't get any penalties, all that type of stuff. So hopefully I can put in a shift, and then hopefully Mort can kind of lead us next week, because that's the other thing, we kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and I think Miami is a track that he's kind of better than at me, because I'm controller, he's real. But look, it's Miami. If I was to say anything, I'd pray for rain again, because I seem to do okay tonight. But yeah, it's tough to say considering we're a long way away in my eyes.
Yeah, I've heard that Miami is a track that you either love or hate it, which is very slightly unfortunate to me just because that is my home track. But all things aside, good job on the P3, and I will pass you over to Aardvark.
Thank you.
Yeah, erasing. Not erasing. Amazing race, man. Slotting into P3, getting 10 overtakes done during that race. That was pretty amazing, to be honest. Teammate getting 12. You and Red Bull must be ecstatic on getting third and fourth in that race.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to just get a little bit of a payoff, because like me and Mort are pretty realistic when we speak about this tier, and this is I kind of alluded to before. We know our spot, and we kind of said to each other that look, the only way we're going to be really at the top is things need to go wrong for others, and then I think we all witnessed in that race things went wrong for 3 people who were all at the top at varying different stages. But then when things like that happen, you got to put the car in the spot to capitalize. And look, it's as I said, it's a great result for the team considering the the unlucky situations that a couple of drivers have found themselves in this week.
Yeah. Yeah, Singapore's quite a difficult track. Really, really tight. Corners are really hard to get around. You basically got to throw the car into the corner if you want to get around it. Um, how was the pressure tonight? How'd you deal with it?
I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected when it comes to that type of stuff. Like, I think the main thing, particularly during that wet phase, is I knew Striker was behind me, and me and Striker race in so many other leagues together. It's ridiculous. Like, I think it's 3 other leagues we race in, maybe 2, and I know he's not dirty in any means. I know he's safe. I know he won't put any pressure from me behind us. As I said to Mort when we were driving, I said, look, I've got Striker behind me. I've got the confidence in him, so we're just gonna go cleanly. And then in that wet phase too, that new guy Hunter, he was clean as well. So I didn't really feel pressure, but it was just making sure that when I saw the mistakes and hopefully the pressure I was giving off to others, you just had to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, overall pretty good race for you and your teammate. Yeah, that's all I have. Congratulations on that podium.
Thank you.
All right, here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. We're about to go ahead and send this stream off into the sunset. Once again, a big congratulations to our top 3 of David, Striker, and Keeper. Congratulations to all these drivers. They had a fantastic race. Before we go, do you have any final thoughts, Aardvark, of just how today's Grand Prix went?
It was amazing. Lots of controversy throughout the race. Obviously, we had some silly incidents with one of the Williams drivers, while the other Williams decided that they would just basically take it away and win it. So yeah.
Indeed, yeah. Once again, I want to thank you so much for jumping into commentary box for the first time. I think I speak for everyone when I say that you did a fantastic job for your first time on the commentary box. I also want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors: Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagnian SimLabs, and then of course, who can forget AI369. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you to our amazing viewers who tune in and day out. And tune in next time when we go for another 100% race in Singapore with Division number 5. Or actually, no, it's Div 3, sorry. So, thank you guys so much. On behalf of Aardvark, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus. We've been the hosts and commentators for today's Grand Prix, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.